Hey everyone, Doc Joe here from Storyweaver Games with an update on Slaughter. As you all know, the Kickstarter didn't go through, and then I journeyed off to the great old country of the US of A to Metatopia. While at Metatopia, I was able to talk to many really fascinating people. We also playtested a new module for Slaughter, the Haunting, so that was a really good fun. But the most important thing is, what do we do now? Now, I spoke with some fascinating people who've run Kickstarters, both successful and, like us, unsuccessful. And one of the things that we've come up with is that we're going to relaunch, and we're going to relaunch sooner rather than later. I don't have the exact dates yet, but we are talking about somewhere in the next 2 months, which is not exactly conventional wisdom, but we're going to give it a shot. But based on your feedback from the survey, and I am still calculating and crunching that, and I'll start presenting some of that information over the next few days, and based on other people's experiences, what we're going to do is think of it as atomizing and breaking down the Kickstarter. One of our challenges was we had to charge in Australian dollars, which made the pricing look very high. It also exposed us to a lot of currency risk. So we had to build in a little bit of fat for that too. On top of that, it made the numbers look really big. So these were, it looked like an expensive game. But really the biggest issue was that I wanted to create the game that would be the most complete across the widest number of scenarios. And that meant a big box. And boxes represent a big chunk of games costs. In fact, about 34% of our total costs, not shipping, just production costs, were the box and the insets. So what we're going to do is we're going to reduce all of that. We're going to not remove too many cards, but we're going to certainly reduce it slightly. The games will still play well with that. We're going to use a much smaller box. We're going to obviously have to now make the player mats, which were not essential to the game, but we'll make them as downloads rather than included in the big box. And we're going to reduce those costs way down. So the playability will still be there, but the initial costs will be much lower. What this also means, and this is the good stuff, is that we can come in with a much lower funding goal. So our chances of being successful are going to be far higher. One of the other things that I'm going to be working with then, in order to do that and still have the additional value, the additional expansion packs, is I'm going to work with an organization called CrowdOx. They are a pledge management company, but they also have a consulting group. And after talking with them for a good almost 45 minutes, I've come to the conclusion that yes, these will be great people to help us. And best of all, they should be able to give us the capability of moving this from an Australian dollar Kickstarter to a US dollar Kickstarter. That will help us protect our currency fluctuations for the manufacturing, but it will also make the prices look much smaller. In fact, we won't have to build as much of a margin in there. So all in all, I think that these are really positive things to go for. Now, that's the overall view of where we stand for the Kickstarter. So yes, we are still going ahead. The next thing is the playtest. How did they run? Well, we ran the Haunting deck. I've had this floating around for a while, and I've done some sort of semi-playtest, but I've never playtested it with really aggressive, playtesters, other developers. And they loved it. We ran 3 sessions, and the first session was just insane, Vincent Price era madness. It was an incredibly funny game, but also very spooky and very romantically gothic. It was fantastic. Let's just say that it did involve a grandfather who had sold his soul to a pig demon so that he could live forever by infecting other people's souls. And at one stage in the game, the grandfather's soul was in the body of his great-grandson. It got very Vincent Price weird. So great Hammer horror stuff. The other game which really stood out for me was one which was played, it was a film set in the 60s. The film itself was made in the 90s, and it was set in Middle America in a closed down theme park. And it was a Punch and Judy theme park. We'd make a Punch and Judy theme park. And it was sort of like Meet the Stepford Wives meets Possession and horror. It was wonderful. Some people got away from that one, or did they? Anyway, great play session. So thank you for everyone who did play in those. Probably one of the greatest things that happened to me at the con. There was just so many good things about Metatopia. I strongly recommend it if you can get down to New Jersey at that time of the year. But one of the great things, very humbling thing, was somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, you're that Australian guy. You're that guy who's got that horror game. I heard really good things about that." And given how many, I mean, we had over 250 game devs there, given how many of them and how great some of these games were, I playtested quite a few games. That was a great honor. So I think that, yes, I've not lost hope, and I'm still forging ahead. And that bit of news, that recognition has meant so much to me. So thanks everyone for all of your support. Thank you so much to everyone who filled in the survey. And please note, we are still going ahead with this, and we will launch as soon as we are ready. We do need to do the new costings for the new boxes. We do need to look at the contracts with CrowdOx. We really have to get this right. One of the key things that I don't want to do is create a Kickstarter and then not be able to fund it fully. So we do need to look at those business processes very, very carefully. But we are going ahead, and it's going to be cheaper. It's going to play just as well. We won't shortchange you on the play, and there'll be plenty of up options for you as well as we move with that. Cheers, everyone. Thanks. Bye.